Awesome, we are now live. So happy Friday, everybody. I hope if you're in the UK, hope you're enjoying the glorious weather. It is absolutely clear blue skies where I'm sat and 32 degrees back in our kitchen. So nice and sunny. So today we've got Martin on the call. He's kindly taken 20, 30 minutes out of his day to talk to his experience of working with us in the 1% Blueprint. Martin's literally just finished up. My words, not his, by all accounts, I think he smashed it, but Martin can tell you a bit more about that. And so we're just going to take 20, 30 minutes to talk through his experiences, what he's learned, and any key takeaways. So if anyone's interested in personal development and growth, hopefully you'll get a lot out of this. So before we dig into that, Martin, do you want to just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do?
Yeah, of course. So I am married, Martin. There you go. Let's start that way. I'm married. I've got one kid who's kind of like a bit older now, so he's like 15, 16. I'm a mortgage broker, have been for about 15 years. But yeah, just generally, life's quite busy, as I'm sure it is for everyone. But kind of engaged with Luke. What now? 3.5, 4 months ago, probably. But yeah, it's been good fun. It's been good.
Awesome. Well, that's a nice segue. Let's get straight into it. So I guess we're going to kick off. Let's rewind, say, 3.5 months back to when we first spoke. You may have seen a few bits on LinkedIn. I'm not sure, but anyway, you decided to reach out for a chat and sort of talk about stuff. What was going on prior to you joining? What was your motivation for having a chat with someone like me?
So I suppose, for pretty much all my life, I've kind of struggled with exercise, weight, that sort of stuff, and up and down, as I'm sure a lot of people have, and trying to find something that actually sticks in terms of routine and that. And kept on seeing you pop up on LinkedIn, doing various crazy things like having showers outside in your pants. But and it was one of those things that I suppose what I wasn't necessarily looking for was just a personal trainer. Personal trainer is great. And the diet regime is good. But I suppose the thing for me that really resonated was just looking at the whole piece. So just trying to give you, I suppose, the tools to allow you to get on with the rest of your life. And, just not just from an exercise piece or a dietary piece, but also from kind of more of a mindset piece and kind of understanding, what you can do to help you as a busy person moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think what was great, you sort of recognise that from the start. Like sometimes some guys in the situation we're in, they're so uncomfortable with how they're feeling and the frustrations that are inherent within that. It's like, that's all I care about is sorting my diet out and doing a bit of exercise, and that'll fix everything. And the way I work, I think very quickly, if you go through a process, you realise it's bigger than that and it's more than that. And it's recognising that those two parts are very important, but they're only two parts of a bigger picture being your life. And I think if you only acutely focus on those, by that very nature, you're going to neglect other things. And then that's why often, like you described, that cyclical nature of stuff ends up happening, I think, because you really focus on it and then work life, whatever happens, and it falls over and you're back to square one again, versus what we're talking about here, I guess, which is that more holistic, bigger picture lens, right?
Yeah, I suppose I always found it really difficult when people said, so have you gone with like a health kick or, have you got a PT or whatever? And it's like, well, yeah, kind of, but it's without sounding too out there or whatever, like the whole life coachy side stuff. But it's kind of everything wrapped into one package. And I suppose describing you to other people is just a bit like that. So it's there's lots of other bits to it, and it's allowing you to kind of like maybe step back and actually think about things. So you're not going to sit there and you're not going to spoon feed people. You're not going to tell them what it is to do. You're going to give them the tools that they have to allow them to live the rest of their life, really, and build something that's sustainable and achievable.
Awesome. Well, let's kind of like dig into a bit of that then. So before we move on and talk about like a good way to be fast forward as to where we are today, what would you say was your biggest frustration or struggle with your situation when we first spoke? What was like pissing you off the most, would you say?
I suppose the main thing for me, everything kind of comes back down to kind of like a weight thing. You start to feel better about yourself. Your mindset's better. You're exercising more. Your mindset's better. All those things. I suppose from my kind of things, everything kind of links back to that. So as soon as you start losing weight and you feel fitter and healthier, then everything tends to improve anyway. So I suppose for me, the main thing was that I've done these crash diets and various other bits and pieces over the years, and they're great and they give you amazing results. And it's great to go out and see your mates the next time you go out, and everyone's like, "Blimey, how much weight have you lost?" or whatever. But it's never really sustainable, because it's always you're never going to eat for like 3 days or something stupid, and it's, you know, you don't eat a carb or whatever it is, or whatever crazy unsustainable diet it is, it just doesn't work. And I suppose the thing that I found from kind of being in the 1% was really that actually you don't have to sacrifice stuff. It's more about knowing, you know, I know when you talk about it in the 1%, it's knowing which levers to pull and which kind of things that will work best for you to allow you to achieve what you want to do. And it's not, you know, you can't go out and have a beer, or you can't, you know, go out with your mates and have a pizza or whatever. It's knowing, well, if you do that, you still need to ensure that, you know, you are doing everything that you need to do. That's a choice that you make, but you still need to kind of crack on with what you want to do.
Yeah, it's having that balance and those standards, isn't it? So
exactly.
But so let's get in. Let's skip forward to today, right? So that was cool. What we were talking about, like when we first spoke. Like, let's just give it a few key highlights of like main achievements that, like, what are your, I guess, main markers of success having finished the program right now? Would you say?
Yeah. So I suppose from a weight perspective, you know, as posted before, I've lost 12 kilos. Don't get me wrong, I'm still quite heavy. You know, I was heavy before. I'm less heavy now, but I feel like I'm in the right place to allow me to continue and build on that.
Well, like we just before we jumped on, you said, like, and it's been like 3 weeks since you finished something. You said, "Oh, you lost another kilo," which I think that's exactly the point, right? It's So sorry, I interrupted, but I think that's
cool. That's cool. Right? I suppose another thing is that I do generally feel fitter. So, you know, from an exercise perspective, now I wake up in the morning and have to do some form of exercise, whatever it may be. And if I'm there towards the end of the day and I haven't done my 10,000 steps a day or whatever, I'm sitting there thinking, well, hang on, something's wrong. And you know, it's quickly you realize that you need that as much as anything. You know, it kind of keeps you going, keeps you mentally there, keeps you feeling better about yourself in general.
I think that's a big mindset shift, isn't it? Going from you said have to, but I think it's the context here. It's like you have to do it because you want to do it because it feels good. Oh God, I've got to do these fucking steps, whatever. It's like if I don't do them, I don't feel great. And it's like, and that's the point. Not like, oh, I'm doing this to get as a means to an end. It's like I want that in my day because I feel better for doing that. I think that's
exactly it. It becomes habitual as much as anything. So it's, as you said, it's have to, because I know that if I don't do it, I don't feel as good as I would if I do. So you know, you have to just you kind of just get on with it. And when you, for whatever reason, you're busy and you can't quite manage to do your exercise in the morning or whatever that you normally would do day to day, and you get halfway through the day and you think, look, something's not quite right. What's going on? And it's that sort of light bulb moment. You know what? It's because I've not gone and done a bit of exercise.
And even what you just said there, I think, is just being conscious of that. No, I don't feel quite right. Whereas before, I think, I'm saying you, Martin, as in you specifically, but also the royal you. If you're not as aware of these things, you go, "Oh, I'm feeling shit." It's like, why do I feel a bit rubbish? Oh, I know why. But you're just more aware, like cognizant of, like, there's cause and effect, and being more aware of the cause and effect, right?
Exactly. And equally, you know, I feel now I'm kind of eating a lot healthier than I was previously. So I'm kind of more conscious about what I'm eating, and I'm ensuring that it's kind of a lot more balanced than it would have been before. So if someone says to me, you know, what one thing would you say is been good? It's not one thing, and that's kind of the whole point from my perspective. Is it's not just about one thing. It's about just building everything together to ensure that you can, you know, be a better version of you.
So we'll touch on that in a second, but I think that's a good one as well. Like, you know, you mentioned when you said you had friends asking, "What have you been doing?" and that's it. And I think because people are so, when it comes to self-development, personal development, and often, especially if it's got a slight fitness slant or element, or there's a physical component, it's like, what's the magic pill? What's the crazy thing that you've done? And you're like, it's not really that. That's not what it's about. It's just a bit of everything, and it kind of works. So people are like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, so you're not doing. So what are you doing differently? It's like, not a lot really. I've just moved a few things around, and it's like it's almost like an anathema, and that's the point, because I think it's something I'm really passionate about. If you want to look and feel your best sustainably, the things you do have to fit. It has to be relatively straightforward. It has to make you feel good. Because if it doesn't tick any of those boxes, you're never going to want to keep doing it, are you? And that's
exactly
the point. And then you're back to that cyclical square one, right?
Exactly. And that's what, you know, why I suppose when I was looking at stuff through LinkedIn, why it resonated with me, what you were saying, because it wasn't that, right, you know, everything's off. You're never going to see anything. And, you know, I've seen other people do these kind of live streams, and I've read other people's stuff kind of prior to it as well. And it's just more, there was just, I don't know, something that kind of clicked with me. You know, what they were saying really resonated, and it felt like something that was sustainable and achievable, as opposed to something that was just going to kill you. And at the end of that 12-week period, it'd just be like, right, let's get back to normal now.
Yeah, time out, back to what I was
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
before.
Yeah.
So I think so. Let's go in and sort of maybe touch on some of your key learnings. And something you said there was like, there's not one thing, which I totally get. But if you were going to take a couple of things out of, or 2 or 3 things out of the whole process, what would have been your main kind of takeaways, like from going through the process? You would say,
I suppose from doing some of the kind of coaching side of stuff as well, it gives you the opportunity to reflect and actually think about you and what it is that you do and what makes you tick, I suppose, which generally you don't have the opportunity or the inclination to do that. So some of the work that you do through the program gives you the opportunity to sort of reflect on things and work out what's important to you. And equally, what things you need to ensure are in your life to keep you on an even keel and make sure that you're firing on all cylinders. So some of that stuff was really good for me. Doing things like meditation as well, it's been quite fun, which is always quite good when you sat with noise cancelling headphones on a Waterloo and City line. I quite like that.
Yeah, your approach to meditation, I loved it. Which actually, although you might say, so you do it, with your headphones in on the Waterloo and City, which well, that's not meditation. It's not in a quiet environment. The actual, I believe, one of the points of meditation is being able to create stillness and calmness in amongst the chatter. That's ultimately what it is. It's about recognizing you are not your thoughts, letting them come and go. So if you can find that calm on the Waterloo City, mate, that's fucking awesome. So I think that's brilliant.
So yeah,
that was also a case of perfect's enemy good enough, right? It's like, well, when can you fit it in? Well, that works for me. Well, great. That's when you should do it then,
And that's the thing as well, and I'm sure that a lot of guys that are been on the program or are on the program now, is that when you're doing something typically and you're busy and life takes over and you're sitting there thinking, right, well, I need to do this or I need to do that or whatever it may be. And quite often, I'm sure a lot of other people feel very similar, but if you feel that if you haven't done exactly what it is that you set it out to do at the beginning of the day, so whether it's, I don't know, going for a run or, X amount of weights or whatever it may be, or this food or that food or whatever, it's like, well, no, actually, do you know what? By doing something, that's better than doing nothing, because there's so many times that you'd sit there and go, well, I'm not going to be able to get to the gym today, so sod it, that's it. Today, it's always tomorrow. But I suppose from your side of things, and one of the things that you kind of instill throughout the program is that, as you said, perfect's the enemy of good enough, and it's sitting there going, well, do you know what? I can do something. I've got the ability to do something here. I've got the next 20 minutes to do something rather than going to the gym for an hour. And actually, it's just making it sustainable and ensuring that you can fit it in with day-to-day life. Because, great. It'd be amazing to, live like a saint and exercise for an hour every single day. But, everyone's busy.
Exactly.
Stuff goes on.
And that example like there, again, the meditation one's a prime example. It'd be great if we could all go and sit in nature in the sunshine and meditate for an hour every day. But most people can't do that. So for you, it's like, well, I'd rather meditate at home when it's quiet. Well, but I can grab 10 minutes on the tube. Well, and it's that way. It's that narrative. I can't do it. Well, what can you do? And I think with that, it's a subtle shift. But then for me, that sort of opens up so many different avenues within your life, and even like small little pockets. And I think that's where people say, well, how do you find the time? It's like the time's there, and you don't need more time. It's just you can't see the opportunity that you have that's right in front of your face. And that I think for me, that's often what part of coaching is. Like I say this as a lot as like, I mean, I've got a coach. I think if you're a coach and you don't have a coach, you're a fraud. So if anyone watching this, you ever work with a coach who doesn't have a coach, that's an alarm bell. And my coach, she says, like, sometimes she tells me the most blindingly obvious stuff. You're like, fucking hell. Like, so that's exactly that. So, okay, I can't work out. Can you do 10 push-ups? Yeah. All right, then do that. And you're like, why didn't I see that? But like, you just don't see if you don't see, and that's the point. And I think sometimes, especially maybe at the start of your journey and the royal journey, if you're not feeling great about yourself, being able to be objective like that is quite difficult because your head's just shit in the day-to-day and the negativity anyway. Yeah. So,
but I think as well, it does follow through into other parts of your life as well. Whereas sometimes you sit there and go, right, I've got half an hour before I've got a meeting or whatever, but I've got to do this and that's going to take me 50 minutes or whatever. It's like, well, actually, can I do some of it as opposed to just writing it all off and going, right, I'll do it later or whatever. And it does all those sorts of things kind of like just help you apply it to sort of day-to-day life and just ensure that you're probably more productive, you get more time back.
Yeah, and that's where the whole physical and mental well-being stuff ties together, I think, like you described there. Because on the face of it, what is like squeezing some exercise within your day got to do with anything? Well, it's like, well, what's helping me facilitate that? That's that objective mindset and be able to take a step back and look at what I can do. Well, that way of thinking and operating can apply to everything. It can apply to your family. It can apply to work. And it's building that up, and that's where that, I believe, at least anyway. I'm putting words in your mouth, Martin, but like that holistic picture starts to come because it all starts to sink in and fit together, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So I guess we've got like the something is better than nothing piece. The it being able to fit in any other areas. I guess another question could be like anything that you did, you were like surprised at or thought, oh, that was a bit different, and you weren't, that came out of it.
I think meditation was certainly one of the things. I've never really done any form of meditation before, but yeah, really enjoyed it. It's been really good. Equally, I don't know. I think for me, drinking, I know it sounds fairly basic, but drinking water, I've never really been a massively able to drink as much water as I need to within a day. But I suppose working through this, it's kind of one of those things that actually you realize and you see the benefits as time goes on of actually drinking more water. You feel so much better for it. But as opposed to it being sometimes just sipping water throughout the day, if that's not your bag, it's sort of downing a couple of glasses here and there, and ensuring that you're squeezing it in throughout the day as we're both sipping water.
Well, exactly. That's it. So I guess there's the sustainability piece which you've talked about. I guess you said that's something you wanted. What is it that you think that's enabled this to feel like it's not another, like, why aren't we going to be having this chat again, Martin, in 6 months? Do you think what's different this time versus other times you've done this kind of process?
I think again it goes back to that sustainability and ensuring that actually what it is that you're doing, it becomes ingrained in you because you build up throughout the program. You slowly layer on pieces as time goes on, which gives you the tools and the levers to pull as and when you feel that you need to. But I think it's the fact that it's not a absolute crash diet or anything like that, or crazy exercise regime, or an in-depth delve into your head or anything. It's a little taste of everything altogether, which means that you can kind of pick and choose the bits that are most relevant to you, I suppose, moving forward, to allow you to build them into your life. But it's that sustainable side of things. It's that it's not crazy. It's not, oh God, I'm not going to be able to go out this weekend and go and have a drink with friends, or I'm not going to be able to go out for that meal or whatever. It's knowing that actually, do you know what? Yeah, I am going to go out and I'm going to have a few drinks and I'm going to do that. But what can I do to try and counteract that? And it's exactly the same from my perspective. Today, we're going to have barbecue later on. Probably have a few drinks.
Rosé, in it. I've got bottles of rosé in the fridge right now. Right?
Yeah. There's some there already, and it's that. Well, do you know what? I don't. There's an opportunity for me to kind of fast prior to that, and not eat anything. And that now, if you'd have said that to me at the beginning of the program, and said, look, Martin, you're not going to eat from last night at 8 o'clock till today at 7:30 or whatever, I probably would have laughed. But actually, now it's a thing. It's easy.
And again, that's a tool and a mechanism that you can apply appropriately. Not if I don't fast, that's it. It's perfect. It's all gone wrong. It's like no, that's just something I'm using to keep that balance in check. And I think that's it. And I think that, like we said, that's really important. That because sustainability, I think, is something that's thrown around a lot, especially when it comes to self-development. But one of the ways I think it had to make it sustainable is it has to accommodate all those things you've described. Because like if you're going to embark on a period of wanting to change yourself and become better and all that best version stuff, it has to incorporate your life as is, because you can't really control what happens to you, but you can only control you and yourself within it. And so if it's pushing everything away to get to a result, that'll get you a result probably if you're able to hold on to it. But then when you let life back in, you've changed nothing. Or you haven't learned to accommodate anything. And so that, for me, that's the key bit to allow for sustainability. Because if you're not allowing for that, or you're going, oh, I'll do this in three weeks when it's all somehow perfect. What? When's that going to happen? Like, or when's that normal? That's the thing.
Yeah. And you can switch the fun off for a period of time. Yeah. But then at some point you've got to switch it back on. Otherwise, life's dull. So yeah.
Exactly. And then usually if you switch it back on and you haven't worked out a framework to allow for fun normally, well, then you just, again, you're back to that yin and yang, right?
Yeah. And if you've got that kind of balance of, you know, working on something to kind of improve yourself moving forward, but the fun's still there, then you don't actually feel like you're sacrificing a lot, because you are still able to go out with friends and go for a meal or go out for drinks or whatever it may be. And you're still able to have that favorite food or whatever it may be. But it's learning to kind of balance it with everything else and just fitting it in with everything.
I think something you said there, which is interesting, and it came up with another someone else who finished a while back now, a guy called Paul. But it's the sort of theme that runs underneath this, and this is the the whole self-development. You want to be better. Often, I think when I say it comes from a negative place, often the guys I work with aren't feeling great about themselves, right? And so it's about a journey of development to help improve that, and that kind of makes sense. But so you want to get better, but then it's not that self-development needs to stop per se. It's just it's coming from a different place then. And being in a state, I think you said there about like wanting to better yourself and moving forward. It's not about chastisement or anything, but like these things that we're doing and we're building that you've built and this sustainability, well, that can evolve over time, and that feels good. And I think as men and women, there's no distinction here, but like being in a state where not overwhelmed, but of forward momentum, progression, feeling like you're achieving and you're doing a little bit more. I think that's a really nice state to be in. And I think if you're in a place where you're trying to make progress, but you're spinning water or treading water and you're spinning wheels and you feel like you're taking a step back, that's quite a disempowered place to be in. So being in a state where you're able to put your best foot forward, I think that's a real empowered sort of way to live and feel. Does that resonate or make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think, that's integral. I know, mental health and looking back at yourself and stuff like that is huge buzzwords at the moment, as it should be. But it's actually taking that time and just sort of thinking about things as opposed to just cracking on and just doing what you've always done and expecting to get a different result. It's actually like, well, no, actually, what is important to me, what does make me tick, and what can I do to ensure that I'm always on that even keel, and if it's not, how can I get it back to where it needs to be?
Amazing. Exactly. And that whole thing of like, well, it's about being able to thrive right now. Yeah. Like, yes, there's maybe a future version I want to work towards because I want to make some physical changes, but right now I want to feel good, like today, not in 3. Oh, I want to feel good in 3 months. Why would you not want to feel good right now? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah. So I think that's really important. Okay, Martin. So look, mate, thank you. I think
no, mate. Thank you, mate.
Really, really helpful having you on, and I think if anyone's watching, they've probably got some good insights into what I guess we believe like real personal development and growth is about. If someone was watching this and they were thinking, oh shit, I want a bit of that, or I'm struggling a bit right now and I need some help, or I just, I've got that itch I can't scratch, I'm not quite where I want to be, what do I do? And they were kind of on the fence with things. What would you say to someone if they were watching this, the potential keen, but they're not sure how to move forward?
Yeah, so I was in that position, and I probably put it off for longer than I should have done. And I think that in reality, if you're starting thinking about it and you're starting looking at stuff, or you see something in it and it starts to resonate with you, you already know what the answer is. And I just get on with it. Just get in touch. It may feel scary, but just get in touch and take control basically. And you've only got one chance to work on this. So just get cracking. Just get cracking with it. Like, awesome. Don't hesitate.
Yeah, I would obviously I would be a firm proponent of that as well, because I think that like we just said earlier, the time is now, right? And you only get one crack. So for me, it's about make the most of what you've got right now. And I think the key is it doesn't have. I mean, I think scary there. I get it. I think, and if you've been in a place for a while and then you're embarking on a period of change, it's like fuck. But I think the point is, it doesn't have, the actual process isn't the painful, scary thing it needs to be. Far from it.
No, not at all. And there's lots of other people that. Oh, thanks, mate. There's lots of other people as well that are on the program that you support each other to kind of move things forward, and everyone's super helpful. It's really good to sort of hear things from other people as well and understand, where they are throughout their journey, how they're getting on, and sort of sit there and think, well, okay, I can see what's coming around the corner, and actually, they're getting on with it really well, and you see their weight dropping and their mindset improving and everything sort of changing. You sit there and think, well, yeah, do you know what? I'm in a good crowd here.
Yeah.
I can move forward.
If he can do it, I can do it, and then we can do it.
Yeah,
that's it.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Martin, mate, thank you so much for your time. As I said, superstar, you deserve all the success you've had, and you're a prime example of that whole just being open-minded, taking ownership, having a look at the big picture, then pulling the levers, and then, mate, you're the net result of that. So you should be incredibly proud of what you've achieved, and I've loved working with you, so thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, mate.
For anyone else watching this, if you are interested in having a chat or would like to see about how I can help, drop a note in the comments or drop me a DM. And on that note, for those of you in the UK, enjoy this blisteringly hot day. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you. And cheers, Martin.
See you later. Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.